Welcome back to the Quintessential Real Estate Podcast. I'm your host, Quinn Shalloway. Today we have Laura Sides on the show, who is now a real estate agent and also a real estate investor. So, Laura, thank you so much for coming back on the show. It has been 2 years, so a lot has changed. Why don't you kind of give us a little idea of what's happened over the last 2 years?
I am so excited to be here. This is awesome to be the first time coming on a podcast for the second time. So it's kind of cool. There's a lot of growth has happened in the last 2 years. So yeah, being an agent is one big thing. I've really ramped up the flipping game and just really focused in on exactly what I like to flip. And then the money, we haven't bought another short-term rental, which I would really like to do this year. It's definitely a goal. We'll talk about that. But It went into lifestyle, which I know a lot of other gurus might not, you don't want to use your flips to fund your lifestyle because that's you're working for that money.
Yeah.
But I mean, we renovated our whole house. Our kids are in private school. I got a brand new car. So it's not exactly lifestyle creep. It was more that we didn't really want to be the millionaire next door. We want to be able to enjoy it while we have young kids. Yeah. So we've traveled to some really cool places, got to spend time with family and did experiences that we wouldn't have otherwise. So the focus changed from investing to like, how can we, really use this for our life?
Yeah. I love the idea of, you're in an area where you want to be and the house clearly fits the purpose that you need it to be. So it's like, we're not going to, use this money to buy an even bigger home, and rates have not gotten any better since the last time we talked. So that's awesome. And it's like you've created another salary, right, in the process of doing this.
Yes, exactly. My husband's W-2, because we live within our means, covers our life expenses. So mine kind of has gone to all the extras, and it's, some years we use that mostly towards investing, which is how we have those 2 short-term rentals. And some years we're like, all right, let's take a minute to enjoy what we've created.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. One of the things that I wanted to talk about today is like, if you don't follow Laura on Instagram, you should, because she does these home flips in like 3 weeks. Like she'll post, it's like, yep, we signed the contract today. I already have my my contractors, breaking down the door. I have all my Amazon packages, coming to the house, all these things. I think that's one part I really would like to focus on. It's like, you get these are quick flips, quick turnarounds. And it's like, however you're funding these deals, we'll get into that, but it's not going to be as expensive because you're so quick and efficient. And that's what everybody wants, especially when the market is hot.
Yeah, absolutely. So I just really honing in on what system has worked, like what our buy box is, because I think I was too shy or didn't know enough to really define that in the beginning. And I think once I really defined what my buy box was, it just accelerated our investing.
Explain what you mean by buy box.
So before I would have said, hey, I will take anything, right? Like anything that I could afford to finance, and we'll renovate it. And like that could be single family houses or whatever. And I still would consider LDLs, but what really has worked extremely well for us are townhouses. And like you said, we just hit the ground running. We size up the whole project with our contractor, our cabinet manufacturer, our flooring person before we even close. So from the contract to close, which oftentimes is 15 days.
Yeah.
Everyone's teed up, right? We have a great title company that we work with, a great transaction coordinator. So we've really built this strong team of people that know exactly how to operate and what we expect. And when we're doing a townhouse, it's kind of like rinse and repeat.
Okay. All right. And you already have like your style that you're going to go with pretty much every time. Would you say there's a sides investing style flip?
That's a great question. So in those cases, I'm usually like, who is going to be the buyer? And if I'm confused about what the style in that particular area might be, I look to the closest new construction.
Okay.
And then those are great ways to see, like, they have whole teams of people that plan for those colors because that's what that community wants. So I can usually copy that with some, flair, like design flares.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like you take what is trending and just recreate it. And, you talked a lot about, forced appreciation in our last episode. And I feel like that, element you're talking about with marketing to maybe someone who's not going to do the new construction, but wants the new construction look. It's like, that's how you're going to get the top price, because they're looking at, a $600,000 townhome versus a, $450 or something like that.
Yeah, you're exactly right. We're giving them I mean, basically turnkey, what could look like new construction. It's beautiful. Everything's been updated safely, right? So even though we do it fast, that doesn't mean that we're not doing it by the book or with licensed electricians. But oftentimes it's simply just changing out the existing outlets, updating, making sure all the plumbing shutoffs are updated, because a lot of times they're like crusted over and like, new hot water heater, new systems, but stuff that we can just quickly do. And if it's something that does require a permit in that township, we're pulling the permit before we close.
When we talk about like a forced appreciation, the hardest part would be the appraisal, right? How many in the last year? So how many have been townhomes?
In the last year, probably 5.
5. Okay. So we bought in 5 different communities, or have they been in the same community?
All different. Yeah.
All different.
These ones all came off of the MLS.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, so there's
on market.
There are deals on market. Who would have thought? Okay, so my question would be, out of those 5, and you might not know this, but I'm springing it on you. How many of those townhomes did you, now you're buying in like high appreciating areas, high income. How many of those townhomes that you flipped sold, like basically set the record in those neighborhoods?
Oh, all 5.
All 5?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So they were, wow, that's awesome. So
that was that market of this year, though.
Yep.
We got to be really careful talking about that going into the next year. I would not plan to set records going into 2026 just because of how things have been, even just the last 6 months. It's a little bit more touchy.
Yeah, it's a little more touch and go. Well, I mean, that's a really cool stat, though.
It is.
Like we've had townhomes, because townhomes are the hardest ones to kind of force appreciate, in my opinion, because if an appraiser goes in and they look at past sales, they first start in that development and then they'll flesh out. But that's kind of where it all starts. And that's where probably the nerves get. So when you are pricing a home and you're getting that top dollar in that development, how much are you above that other record setting townhome that you're trying to essentially beat? I mean, you're not probably thinking that way, but.
Oh, no, I am. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, I pay really close attention. So like what you just said makes it difficult for the appraiser is what I'm paying really close attention to and what makes it easy for me to comp it. Because I'm looking at every townhouse that's sold in that unit that is a model match for mine in the last 6 to 9 months. And then I'm saying, all right, this is the highest one. What do I need to do to beat that design wise? Do they have a basement? Does mine have a basement? That kind of thing. Does it need to be finished? Is there a garage? And then I am buying in every situation where it is so safe that I won't lose. And I think that's where flippers can kind of get themselves in trouble if they're saying like, well, the highest sold comp in here was 340. If you're like, well, I can definitely get 375. I never think that way. I think, how do I get it to 340? And do my numbers work it that way?
Yeah.
And then when it goes over 340, I'm really happy with that. But I make sure that it works at around those like top 2, usually 2, like comps that, set the market for that community. And then we raise everyone's property values.
Yeah. That's great. All, what they say, all tides raise all boats.
Yes.
That's really good. And then it makes it better. It's like, hopefully people I feel like it would happen where some people will see you did a flip in their community. Maybe they reach back out to you. I mean, has any of that like started maybe to happen?
I need to get much better. So I'm already really good at inviting the neighbors in, letting them know what I'm doing. But especially now with being an agent, I don't know. I've never been good with like the community outreach piece of like, I want to buy your house.
Yeah.
But I think that is one area that I could significantly improve in.
I like the idea of, it's like when you use these flips that you do, and maybe you're sitting in open house now rather than your agent who was, and you can have a little service there, just kind of offer. It's like, are you from the community? It's like, let me take a look at your home. And it's like, I'm going to get top dollar for this. And we're getting some turnover in this community. Not everybody lives in a townhouse forever. It's like, I can tell you kind of how I got here. And, when the time comes, I could help you sell this. But I would love to give you an idea, because I did the flip myself and I know where the value was. And it's like, for you, it's like, maybe you don't get in on the investor side, but that's probably how you leverage these flips into actual sales.
That's genius. I love that.
Like, that's pretty cool. And I think that, people are always, just from the agent side, people are looking for any type of new idea, some type of value rather than an agent just going, yeah, the market's hot. Rates are still above 6. We got to put this offer in today, yada, yada, yada. And it's like, how do you set yourself apart? And it's like, you're setting yourself apart because you can work through the numbers on the community that you're working in.
Yeah, it's like such a great point.
Yeah.
I have been, so one of the communities that I did in Chester Springs, I made friends with everyone in the community, right? When we're flipping a house that fast, I'm typically there at least, every third day just to check in and make sure. And I love meeting the people in the community. And she had called me about another house for sale. So she was trying to give me a heads up. And then the agent that I was working with, Zach, had put flyers out about buying or selling a house and got a townhouse that he ended up flipping because of that.
Awesome.
So it did end up working out where I should probably up my flyer game a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So 3 weeks to buy. How are we funding these again? I know in the past you were doing line of credit with Present Real Estate. Has that changed?
Nope. In fact, it's just gotten bigger, right? Because of the appreciation over time.
Yeah.
So we take a HELOC on our primary, and then we have 2 vacation homes that are also short-term rentals, and we have HELOCs on both of those properties, so that the sum total of the HELOCs is probably $450, and then we can just use that money to buy in cash. If I do need to supplement that, I would go hard money.
Yep.
Or
Have you went hard money with any deals?
One. I've done it once, and all I had to keep telling myself is it costs money to make money. It costs money because it's so expensive.
Tell some of these other investors who see the hard money, possibility, and kind of explain. Maybe give us a little example of how much you had taken from a hard money lender and what that cost was.
It was a house, and it was a nice house in Media. It was a beautiful house, but I want to say our purchase price was like $400,000. And at the time I didn't have that. And I didn't even own the second short-term rental. So we didn't have that. So with a hard money lender, we bring 20%, right? And then they fund the rest, but usually there's points on the funding side of it. So say they funded $300,000, you're paying probably 2 points, which is 2% of $300,000, right? And then there's like doc fees, $1,500, and then their interest rate's usually like 11%.
Yeah.
So it's high, but if you can make that work in the deal, then it can work.
If you need the money and you don't have the liquidity or the flexibility, through your own funding. Yeah.
It is hard though, when you're trying to use hard money to compete with other people that don't need to have it, because I need a much bigger cushion.
Yeah.
So when I realized like, hey, if I can operate out of what my cash reserves are, which are the HELOCs, they're technically cash, right? Then I can buy, and it's such a smoother process because I'm just a cash buyer.
So with your HELOCs, I guess, how many times have you revisited the HELOC in the last couple years, because we've had the appreciation, so you can get more access to that? That's something I'm thinking about doing myself. I'd be just kind of curious, because I don't know how old the HELOCs were, but there's usually a fee you have to close it out, get a new appraisal, do another closing. I mean, have you done any of that?
So I use Reliance Federal Credit Union out of King of Prussia, and they are a small local bank. They base a lot off of relationships, which I didn't realize was such a factor, right? Like relationship banking and small local banking is huge, because I originally tried to take it out with like TD Bank or whoever. And it was just this big runaround. Whereas when we made the switch because someone referred us to the local bank, it was so smooth, to the point now where a year after I had opened it for the first time, which was like 2021, I called him back and I was like, hey, it's been a year of appreciation and loan, my mortgage pay down. Could I extend the HELOC or whatever? And he gave us another $100,000 for the fee of $300.
Wow. That's amazing.
It's like a one-time fee, right? $300. And it's same for if you wanted to go and start a HELOC there or whatever. It's $300 fee. It's open for 99 years. My interest rate is variable, and that scares people, but it's really not a big deal if you're doing it fast.
It's less than hard money.
7.5% right now. And I've never seen it go over 8.
Prime plus 1.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm happy to pay that because it keeps the money local. That's another thing. And, I'm 7.5% on a flip that from the time I buy it to the time I sell it is maybe 2 months. I only have to make one HELOC payment.
Yeah.
And I'm using the HELOC to make the HELOC payment.
Yeah. With the HELOC, I know they're all different types of products, but is this like an interest only product or is it a principal and interest? Just curious.
That's a good question. It is principal and interest.
Okay.
So like I'm paying it down as I'm making those monthly payments.
Okay.
But they're great. So to your point then, on both short-term rentals, we can go back. I have gone back and said, hey, can we raise this, right? And then that's another part of relationship banking, which I don't even know if I should say this. But I was like, hey, we're getting to what would be considered the top of our DTI probably, right? Like, and that can be tricky. Once you make that relationship, they're happy to fudge those margins a little bit because they make the rules. They're the bank. It doesn't have to go by the big red tape of like a TD Bank. So
they're not their portfolio lender, I would imagine. So it's like their assets are theirs, so they can make those calls.
Yeah. And one way that I've developed that relationship with the bank is like when I use the HELOC to fund a flip, I tell the president of the bank, I'll send him an email and I'll be like, hey, Doug, what's up? This is what I'm using that money for. Yeah. This is how long. I don't owe him that. But keeping him in the loop when I'm pulling out $250,000 or $300,000 probably is good, right? And it
couldn't hurt.
Doesn't hurt. It's a really short email of this is the property I bought. This is what I'm using the money for. This is when I plan to pay it back. Thank you for being awesome.
Yeah, that's cool. All right. So, but typically almost all HELOC, and it sounds like you're pretty comfortable in that price point, like where you can make all of that happen at that price point, which is something, like you said, staying inside of your box. It's like, yeah, it'll be cheaper if we can buy homes at this price point because then I don't have to use someone else's money where they're going to charge me 2 points and the interest rate is going to be 40, 60% more.
Absolutely.
It's like you're saving money just
and
by
all
doing
the
that.
Paperwork associated with that. So another, like, it's a time suck to have to, there's a significant amount of paperwork that you need to fill out with any loan, but even hard money loans, like, which it might be good for a new investor, but like you have to go down a line item sheet of what you're going to spend on windows, what you're going to spend on staging, what you're going to spend on plumbing, whereas right now I have a spreadsheet of my own or I do it in my head and then we roll.
Yeah.
I don't have to.
It's like another layer of the business that you're just like, we can figure this out at this price point here and not have to do that.
Yes.
Yeah. That sounds like a lot of extra work. And now you're taking on extra work because now you're an agent.
Yeah.
Yeah. So why are we an agent now? Talk me through the progression because, you were using an investor-friendly agent for a while. What basically made you say, I got to get this license? I
know. And I love them. And so, it's the Rob Lawrence team at VRA Realty. And I was working with Zach Cucinotta and they're fantastic.
Yeah.
I still talk to them every day. I talked to them before I walked into here. We're still brainstorming because it's collaboration over competition. And being an agent is something I'd always thought of, but I had my 3 kids at home. So it really didn't make sense. It made sense for me to say, hey, I found this property because time, right? I needed my time. So I could say, I found this property. Can you put an offer? This is how much I want to pay for it. With townhouses, you can do that, right? Because I can see it later, but that's a whole nother topic. But so I was really easy to work with. And, I was super involved with the whole buying process and the whole selling process. I knew how it went. I liked to be involved. I just didn't have the time. Well, all 3 of my kids are in school now. I have the time. And honestly, the market's getting tighter in our area just with a little bit of the shift. So I can add that commission piece in to help make a deal work, whereas otherwise I would have been paying that out, which I was happy to do because they were fantastic. But you kind of need that buffer in there at this point in some of the deals.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's good to just have a lever if you need to pull it.
Yes, absolutely. And then also I can help refer people, which I really like doing because I have a lot of people coming to me that way. And so it's just been a neat buying and selling my own properties. I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah. Well, one thing I've kind of noticed in the last 2 years that has changed maybe a little bit is your online presence. You're a big shot influencer for the investment community.
I have a lot of fun with the being online. I'm not your typical have a plan, right? I just kind of share as the moment strikes, and I really enjoy just showing up. I mean, I can open Instagram and literally walk into a community of like-minded individuals that are doing big things and have conversations with people that I wouldn't have otherwise had access to.
Yeah. Yeah, the way I kind of, as I view your brand or whatever from the outside here, it just makes it look like this is fun. It's not hard to do. You just have to put the time and effort into it, and you can invest in real estate too.
I love that that's the takeaway.
I mean, it just, and then you've got elements of, hey, family is really important to me still, all these things. And it's really neat to see. And it's like you can't see everything, but it's like, it's actually hard. It's not always, fun and games, but I just love that there is like, hey, I'm not this big wig investor, buying wholesale deals. Like I'm trying to buy 20 a month or whatever. It's like, hey, Laura's making really good money doing 5 to 7 flips a year.
Yes.
And like, this is a career path that made sense to do when they made the leap. And they're like, we've got this one income, let's do this. And we can fund a lot of other things, maybe buy some assets along the way.
Yes, you're exactly right.
Yeah.
And it's just been such a learning curve for me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can really learn stuff from other people. And the whole reason I started that Instagram was originally to do that, just be able to follow people that were doing kind of what I was interested in real estate and wanted to do. And then it turned into me sharing, even before I thought I was ready to share. But I was like, hey, these regular people that are doing real estate inspired me. Like maybe I can inspire someone else because I had no experience. This is very doable.
Yeah.
And it seems to be where, the plan is working.
Absolutely. That's great. I guess, so inspiring people, things like that. You are in a community now. Yeah. Maybe talk a little bit about that.
I got invited to be a cohort leader in the WIRE community. The WIRE community is an international women who invest in real estate. And it's a group of women who, some of them are doing really, really impressive things. And it's just this online community where we can come together and talk about what we're doing. People partner up in that community. Mm-hmm. They encourage each other. You can ask a question and get immediate answers and really good, trusted resources. Yeah. Really supportive. So I was honored to be invited to coach in there.
That's awesome. Yeah. It's like you kind of get a little bit of imposter syndrome probably when you walk in, you're like, I'm not you. I'm not. But at the end of the day, I'm just saying like you could do 1 or 2 of these a year and it's like that's additional income. It's like that's kind of how I see it's like you're scaling it. But I just, it's commendable. It's really cool to see. And not everybody's a good follow on Instagram. Not everybody's a good follow. And it's like you want to think that there's like some, good value coming behind it. So I think for your community, it definitely seems like it is.
Thank you.
Which is great. One thing that I think is pretty awesome is, you did our podcast 2 years ago. And then I saw you posting that you were going on Bigger Pockets podcast. I'm like, that's like the biggest investing group in the United States or maybe ever, like all around. And I'm like, how is she doing this? Like, this is crazy.
I know.
Like how did that even happen? And, what did you talk about? And just kind of take from there.
I was so honored to be considered to be on that podcast and to be asked. And then what was insanely cool is that was probably last February. And then just now, the night before Thanksgiving, they reposted the podcast saying it was one of their favorite podcasts of the year. And I was blown away. I've gotten a lot of messages, which is cool, that said it was really inspiring to people, probably for the same reasons that you just said, that you see on my Instagram, right? That it's accessible.
Yeah.
You don't have to do 15 deals a year. You don't have to let it take over your life, right? Like I'm still so present. I still consider myself a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah.
All 3 of my kids are in school. I'm so involved in their schools. I can still fit this in the pockets of time that work for me. Mm-hmm. And I really am passionate. I just enjoy doing it. I really enjoy doing it, every aspect of it. So the Bigger Pockets podcast, it was very similar to our first podcast. They kind of wanted to hear how I got started, what inspires me, and what the plan is for the future.
All right. So what is the plan for the future?
What is the plan for the future? That's such a good question. Do you know what's really hard? Once you start showing up online and once you start generating income that you need a place to invest it in, you get a lot of offers to do things that you might not have otherwise considered, but you want to give it the time and the energy, and then you do.
Yeah.
And it is a little bit off track, right? And then it's a little bit distracting. Mm-hmm. So I think this year, you know how people like say a word for the year? Like I think focus is going to have to be mine. And it's going to have to be a turn of what do I really want to focus on?
Yeah.
And I'm still working that out. I mean, one of our biggest distractions, it was a growth period too,
Yeah.
but this past year, a company came to us and they offered us this company. And it looked like it had a lot of potential. And I loved the owner, but she was also the operator. And my husband is really, really good, like wise. Like he's not as distractible as I am.
Yeah.
And he kept saying, Laura, do not buy yourself a job. Do not buy yourself a job.
Yeah.
And it took us a lot of going over it because I wanted to give it the time and respect that it deserved.
Mm-hmm.
And if it was an opportunity that could change our lives, that's exciting, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was something that I was interested in. But when it was all said and done, you need the numbers to work and you need to take the emotion out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And for us at that time, the numbers didn't work.
Yeah. Yeah. If there's a big financial investment, you gotta take some time to weigh the pros and cons. But I like the real estate industry where you can try things out and you need to try things out and being okay. It's like this year I paid for an inbound sales associate to make calls. So I had 100 calls going out every day for a 6-month period. And that was a pretty big nut to pay. But I kind of, every year you bump up your advertising, your marketing, and you figure out, where can we spend? And, we put it in this pot this year, put it in that pot next year. And I'm not putting that money back into that pot. It really, I'll probably get 1 or 2 deals out of it, but the amount of, I had invested into it, it's just too much. But it's good to take risks in this industry, but you have to know when, hey, we're going to walk away. It's like that discernment, you really got to have good discernment. So that's really exciting.
Yeah, it is.
It's fun to have all the options, and all the options can be really overwhelming. Yeah. Because you go, which way? I see this person being successful doing this. They're successful doing this. And you have to remember, it's we can only pick a couple avenues here because we're going to run ragged. It's I knew this one guy who he told me, it's when I got my real estate license, I'm like, oh, that's awesome. I also have a full-time job. And I got my notary. And he's I'm thinking about, he was telling me all these different things. And at one point I was like, buddy, you need to pick, because you are just you can't be a jack of all trades. I don't care what anybody says. It's you can either be really phenomenal at something or okay at all things. And you have to decide, which do you want? It's not, I don't know. That's just kind of why I kind of honed in on what I do. And it's maybe we can add on to these as they go. It's get a system in place, and then it could be replicable or whatever.
It sounds silly, but I heard a quote recently, or read a quote recently that said, "A squirrel that chases 2 nuts catches none." And I keep thinking that. Mm-hmm. So it's a big okay, you have to stay focused because you hear so much, mm-hmm. Mobile home parks, self-storage, new construction, laundromat.
Yeah.
And you're just yeah, I could do all of that. You could.
Yep.
But I don't know that you're going to be great at all of it. So I think the focus piece is good. And mm-hmm. really the flip engine, I'm looking forward to using my license for my own deals. And I would love to continue to flip at least a couple more times in this upcoming year. It's a great way to make quick influxes of money, right? Where then your job is to figure out what you can do with that money mm-hmm. that's going to give you your best return.
Yeah. So we've been investing in ourselves this past, you said that's where the money's been going, investing in family, in life. Where do you see that money being allocated in the next couple of years?
That's a good one. And I know this isn't, a squirrel chasing a nut here, but I read Cody Sanchez's book, Main Street Millionaire. And I think there's has a lot of my attention are service-based business acquisitions. So entrepreneurship by acquisition, mm-hmm. instead of growing a business, whether it be something that's already running, right? A grandpa is ready to retire, but no one wants the business. And he spent his life building this business and it's mm-hmm. beautiful, but it also doesn't have a website. It doesn't have a Google reviews page. There's no social media. There's no fast track of scheduling or anything like that. It's not streamlined, but he's done an incredible job building a reputation.
Yeah.
Something like that. I'm interested. Hey, let me help you retire. Let me take this over, put an operator in place.
Yeah.
And let it.
That was going to be my next question.
Yes. Do not buy yourself a job.
Yeah. Do not buy yourself a job. Yeah. I'd be so mad if I bought myself a job. Because we've talked plenty of times about buying some type of business, and that is the fear. The fear is like you have your career, mine being real estate, and then, hey, I need this to succeed. Like, we committed to this. Can I really be putting a 40-hour week here, 50-hour week there? It's like, no, because at the end of the day, I got into this for the reason of flexibility and lifestyle, and it's afforded. It's like, can't, fully fill up this cup if I do that. It's like, we want something more, but we want it to be quasi-passive, right?
Yes. My friend is in real estate in Texas, and I told her about the book. She read it. She immediately put a contract on a business, and it was a dog grooming salon in like a strip mall. So it's like a rental. And she has to do the books, but it has all of the management in place, all of the employees in place. And after she clears her business loan, the rent for the place, and all of their salaries, I guess you call it, then she's making $10,000 a month behind the scenes. Yeah. Owning a luxury dog grooming salon.
Wow.
So I'm like, that's interesting.
I know, you hear those stories and you're like, what in the world?
I need to pay more attention. Is it this easy, right? So I think,
you'll even sometimes hear, I was talking to my photographer and he was telling me, he's like, yeah, I have this friend who he does, he seals driveways, and, he makes good money on that, but he also has this account, like ASMR, like driveway sealing. And he's like, yeah, he makes like $4,000 or $5,000 a month on his TikToks. I'm like, he's like, I need to get into that with photography. I was like, mind blowing to me.
It
like
is.
How do you set something up like that? And it sounds so easy. And it's like, you can really get just in analysis paralysis, like stuck, because there's so many avenues that you can go. But it's like, you really have to commit to them. You can't just say, yeah, I'm doing all these things. And, that's why I kind of asked that question, because it's like, you see, like, to what length do you want your online presence? Like, how do you want to, like, kind of capture income if you're trying to promote yourself on like Instagram or whatever? And like, you know what I mean? Like that, I see a lot of agents they want all the followers, but that doesn't necessarily impact your business. It means, hey, we're going to sell, this, product to other agents or something along those lines, or because people are always trying to, like, how can I stack my business into something else?
What's really neat with the follower piece on Instagram is it's definitely, like, for me at least, a quality over quantity type of thing. Like, I love interacting and knowing about the people that are there, and some of them have been there for 3+ years, you know, and you can cheer them on and they cheer you on. And I think there's so much value in that. One neat thing about Instagram, and I don't make money per se from that really at this point. If there's something that I'm into that I think has merit, I will share it. Yeah. I've had brands reach out to me, like, more recently, or like services that I use, like cleaning services for the beach and stuff like that, and will offer to pay to collaborate on a post. And that's kind of cool.
That's neat. Yeah.
So that's been neat. And I think those avenues, like seeing those avenues open up, it doesn't hurt, you know?
Yeah.
It's like,
well, I saw you were doing for a little bit I don't know what you call it, but like a brand ambassador influencer for Amazon products.
Yes. And I honestly would encourage anyone. So, like,
explain that.
Tried it out. Right. And then when I was like, I think this does have merit, you guys should do it too. Yeah. And then basically I had bought like a course to learn it, because I had no idea what it was about. And I'm like, I'll try this. Right. And then once it started catching on, I'm like, oh my gosh. Yeah. So you can apply to Instagram to be an influencer. That's what they call it, their influencer program. And then once you do, you can basically apply then to take video reviews of products that you're already using. So like, if you bought this microphone on Amazon, we could, or even if you didn't and it's sold on Amazon, we can still review it. We can take a 30-second review of the microphone, put it on Amazon. And then when someone goes to look up microphones and they're looking at reviews, if they watch our video and then buy the microphone, we get a percentage of the sales.
Wow.
On every product. And here's the thing, you could have bought it from Target 10 years ago. If it's still sold on Amazon, you can review that product, put the review up, and make commission. every time. So every morning I wake up and I'm like, all right, that's cool. Like I made $27 yesterday. And then at the end of the month, it's a couple $100 usually. And I'm very low key. But what's cool for me is I buy so much off of Amazon for my flips and my short-term rentals that I'm like, this is silly that I'm not just opening these boxes and being like, look at this doorknob. This is a great doorknob. You know, look at the color. I like the shape. It's very ergonomical. You literally say 3 things you like about it, and then you post the video. Here's the other neat thing about it is no one's ever seeing it. Like, it's not like you're posting it to your social media, right?
Oh, you're not?
No, it doesn't have to go on my social media. It's going on Amazon's platform. So anybody that I don't know, I mean, anybody can see it, but they're the ones watching the review videos to decide if they want to buy it or not. So it's all posted by Amazon, and then you get the residual income. So I bought
so those just always stay on.
Yep. And they pay you indefinitely.
So how's it work? I mean, other people are, I guess I don't quite understand, like, how do you get paid if, say, you do something on this microphone, you post it, and then how does it basically, how are you the affiliate that gets paid if they buy it on Amazon?
So the review for the microphone goes on Amazon directly. I can totally show you. But what you were seeing on Instagram is once I learned about it and I was like, man, this is really good for the flip and short-term rental community. And then it can even go as far as if you own a short-term rental, I can have like a QR code in my short-term rentals and be like, shop this rental. So like the sheets, the duvets, the pillows.
That's cool.
If you really liked it, you can scan it and it's all in my store.
I like that too, because it's like you have an eye, and I know like the level of care you put into your short-term rentals, and that also just when people stay at those places, like you kind of want them to have a little bit of like a little house envy maybe, and it's like the fact that they can go on, it's like, oh, so this is what this is, and this is how much this costs. Let's get this for our place. I mean, that's kind of a neat little thing to add, where it's like, yeah, if you want any of this stuff, here's where you can get it.
Yep, exactly. And then what I also saw is I was getting a lot of people through Instagram asking me for the finishes that I put in flips. And since I'm doing, lower budget flips, a lot of it is coming off Instagram or Amazon. So then I created lists like, this is what I put in kitchens. These are the light fixtures I use. This is what I put in bathrooms. And then I could share those lists, and that's affiliate marketing. So once they buy things off the list, which is working for them, I would get a proportion of that sale too. What you were probably seeing most on Instagram is when I found the course and I bought it. I don't even remember. It was like $150. I'm like, $150 to learn how to do this. Okay, fine. Absolutely. So I paid someone, and then you get the rights. You could pay $25 extra or whatever it was for the rights to then resell that course to learn. Oh. So I was like, hey guys, this is what I'm doing. This is how it's working for me. If you wanted to, click the link in my bio. So it's still there if anyone wants it.
Neat. That's interesting.
It was fun. It was easy to learn. And it was just something that perfectly integrated and isn't distracting. What is also really cool about it, I have an 11, 9, and 7-year-old. And I told, we're all about using technology responsibly, but also putting in the entrepreneurial piece. They now review their toys. So we need like 30-second reviews. And then it's not a lot. Like they'll make 30 cents on a Lego or $1 on a calendar that they reviewed, or they'll review their books to the point where it's almost like a book report, but they sell them on Amazon, and they'll be like, this is what I liked about this book. And then I'll say like, hey guys, cause you'll see a breakdown of like what people bought. I'll be like, hey guys, look, this is what sold today. Your brooder truck. You made $1.30 off of a brooder truck.
Wow. And
it's a way to show them that there are positive ways to use technology. And then this is like one step further and crazy. Now that I've kind of built out the Amazon influencer page, I'm having brands email me and send us free toys for the kids to review.
That's awesome.
So like this week, it was like a walking dog or something like that. And they're trying to get traction for their brand. They're like, we see what you're putting out there. We like it. And again, that never goes to social media. It's on my Amazon page, which whoever, in your group ever looks at your Amazon page, which I
didn't even know you had an Amazon page.
Right. It's
I didn't even know people had those.
Cheesy, but you're like, I love this water. It's so fresh. But so it seems a little silly, but it also helps the consumer, right? Because you're only going to review things that you feel honest about.
I like that from the kid perspective. I mean, it's like they get taught how, okay, this is 30 seconds of your time, and this is what you get out of it. if we do more of these, is how you kind of build a business. And it's like they're seeing you guys flip homes, but also, hey, here's how you could make money right now.
Infinite returns. And
That's just so cool. I mean, I'll have my daughter do like a couple things. We'll give them a couple quarters, but like this is, someone else is paying them, and that's pretty cool. And that's really unique.
they have fun doing it.
Yeah.
And it's legal, right? Like they're allowed to be on there.
It's legal. Child labor
They're
laws.
just, or also just like putting them on social media, but it's literally them like pushing a car around and saying what they liked about their toy car or remote control car or whatever. And and they're really into it. They're cute. It's really cute.
All right, let's flip back here to your flips this year. What was the biggest challenge this year?
That's a good question. Honestly, well, I mean, we could go two ways with it. One, it is getting tougher to find on-market flips.
Okay.
Because I think people are considering what houses sold for in 2021 and 22.
Fair.
And we're still kind of pricing them that way, even for houses that need a lot of work. And then they're not going to resell. You know? And I think the market's turning a little bit that now they're pricing them there and you're seeing them sit. But like, for instance, right now there's a townhouse on market. It's been up for 30 days. So I have my eyes on it. It's dirty, but it's not filthy. Mm-hmm. And they had it priced at like $340 and now they're down to $320. And I know that it would work for me at $260 or what? I think we said $270 would be the max, right? Yeah. So I'm like, do I reach out? Do I wait? You know, and
well, now is a cool thing. We can just say, hey, forget the commission.
Right? That's a great point. I mean, it's quite a leverage piece, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a really good point. Maybe I will try it and I'll let you know how it goes. Yeah. This would be my first time really advocating for you can negotiating.
I mean, there's two ways to do that. It's like, forget the commission or the agent. Keep the commission.
You guys are getting real talk right now. I mean, but seriously, it's
real estate is a pirate ship. There's agents who need deals. Take my commission.
That's such a good point because I would have been.
I mean, they should be doing their fiduciary duty, but take my commission, take my offer.
Yeah.
You have control. We'll use your title company.
Oh.
I mean, also too, and then they could sell it however they want, but it's like now you have this chip that you can use at any point and just say, forget it, or I'll reduce it. I mean, it's something you're going to get to play around with now.
And really, as far as me being the buyer goes, like I am the easiest person to work with, you know, and it's vacant. It's dated. It's very dated and dirty, but it's vacant. So it's, you don't know if it's an estate or what, but it's just kind of sitting there. So my biggest challenge was like just kind of finding those. And that was another play of me getting my real estate license to learn what you just shared, right? Is like, there's some bargaining chips here that we can work with to help incentivize the deal to make it work. And I'm still learning that.
Yeah.
So the other one was, there are certain townships that are really tough to deal with.
Yeah.
And I got to the point of a really rough inspection at the end for the township after we truly had done everything right. And it got down to it, and he came for the last inspection, and he's like, so will you ever flip in the town again? And I looked right at him, and I said, I don't work with people that don't work with me.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you can slowly there's your box. It's like, that is not a part of my box with this township. It's not. It's like it's a price point, but it's also an area.
Absolutely.
And we're not dealing with this area again.
Right. And there are townships that I know that are incredibly easy to work with.
Because you make more money if you can close faster. And it's like if this township's going to drag you out, it's super frustrating and you're losing money every day.
Especially when we know that we're doing it right. They were being very, very difficult. But you're also right, like townships that aren't hyper responsive, I won't work in those either because we move really fast.
Here's a question. All right. So, or this is a problem maybe I see happening for you if things are slowing down where, hey, we can't do hopefully we still do as many flips as we did last year, but we have this incredible team that can get stuff done in 3 weeks. When the deals are not as consistent, how are you keeping that team available for when the next flip comes up? And what are you doing?
This is such a pertinent topic because my lead contractor, who I love, right?
Yeah.
And I have fed him the majority of
Yeah.
his work and been conscientious of like, if it wasn't my projects, who could I put you on? And it's other investors. And I don't get any kickbacks for that. I just keep him
Just
busy.
trying to keep him fed.
I got a text message yesterday and it said, necesito trabajo. Is that I need a job? So I think that's what that translates to. That's how I read it. And he sends me pictures of his current work and I'm like, that looks great. And so now, I mean, this is a today problem for me, where he's asked me to partner before because also his English is really good, but not 100%. And I think it holds him back. And he's like, how can we partner? And I've never really considered that, but I'm like, how can we partner? He's really, really good. And him and his people are incredibly fast. They understand the assignment.
Yeah.
So I kicked around with Zach yesterday, the other agent that I was working with, who I also have shared this contractor with. How can we, GC a job for somebody, or like if an agent is going to sell a house, but the house needs work, like I can help you with that.
Yeah.
So we're trying to figure that out, but we're always definitely working on what his next project is going to be.
Yeah. Because they gotta work. These contractors need work, but you need someone who can start the day you close.
Yes.
And it's, they have to have the loyalty and just, hey, this person is giving me jobs, so maybe I don't take that other job because I know this is going to be coming up because I need to make sure Laura, Zach, whatever these guys, when they have a deal, I got to be there because there's 7 jobs a year that they're a part of.
Once you start doing repetition like that, and also being someone who you're never going to have to ask me for a check, right? Tell me how you want to be paid. I'm going to pay you, and I'll pay you before you have to ask. And I'm going to make sure you have all the materials. When our job is running, I am hyper responsive. You will get a text message response within minutes, if not a call. But usually we preemptive, make sure there's no problems going into it. We're all clear. So another thing is with our contractors, if they do make a mistake, it's not their mistake, it's our mistake, right? So it's never, what did you do? Why is that toilet leaking? It's like, okay, this is a problem. How do we fix it?
Yeah.
And we're incredibly easy to work with, or I'm incredibly easy to work with, right? So if I don't pick up another project in say the next 4 weeks when he wants work, and then all of a sudden I do, I still go pretty much to the top of the list, or we'll get, some of his guys will be there to get it started. One nice thing is I can usually give him at least 15 days lead time to say, hey, I'm closing on this house in 2 weeks. I'll see you there at 9 a.m.
Yeah.
And they're there. So with the dumpster pulling in the driveway. But they understand the assignment. But here's the thing, when you're doing the same thing over and over, it's easy for them too.
Yeah. And it's also probably a variable that you can sort of figure out what cost is going to be the more you work with one person.
Oh yeah.
Like
absolutely. Yes.
That is a lot better than just every time you don't have a team, you're just going and finding a contractor. It's like you don't know what the prices are going to, like a bathroom might cost 10 for one, 15 for another. It could change a whole lot.
You're right.
And that's stressful.
And that's another interesting thing about flipping that I think sometimes buyers don't understand is like, yes, you could buy this house as a fixer-upper, but you're not going to get the same prices that we're going to get as far as labor goes because we have these relationships and repetition developed.
Yeah.
So like we can usually do it for probably half the cost of what you would typically pay.
Yeah.
Because of our relationships and because we're going to give them the next job and the next job.
Yeah.
And if I don't have it, I'm going to find another investor that has one and I'll put you on that.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's like they're an extension of your business.
Yeah.
They're part of the team, and it's important that they are successful as well. And it's like having that holistic look, like we all get fed with this deal type of deal. I mean, that's really valuable because if you say, hey, it's all for me, I'm going to, make sure I make the most amount of money and like I beat down my, my contractors on price. It's like, yeah, they're probably not going to come to bat to you every time, or they'll be a little bit more difficult. So it's really good to have that understanding.
You're exactly right. I never give them a hard time.
Yeah.
I might, like give them the side eye, but it's never like, we don't go back and forth.
Yeah.
And I can estimate prices a lot better that way.
I guess we'll just end with this, if we're looking to buy or sell or invest, where can we reach you? Or if we have a property that is, a barn burner.
Interested. No. I am one of the places that I talk about real estate the most is on Instagram at sides_investing, but I can also be reached at laura@sidesinvesting.com.
Okay. All right, great. Well, Laura, thank you so much for coming on. It was a blast to hear what's been going on the last 2 years. You know, you're big time investor on BiggerPockets, big online presence, and thank you.
Thanks so much for having me, Quinn. This was awesome.